Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
And Robbe, we're talking about the Brooks Hyperion 3?
It's just Hyperion.
Oh, yeah, because they got rid of the Tempo, right?
Yeah, and it would have been, it's only the second one anyways. The original version of this shoe, the Hyperion Tempo, came out in the before times of COVID. I don't even remember, that seems like a different dimension.
It was a different dimension, as the Beastie Boys would say. At the time, Robbe, it came out, it was one of the first shoes to use nitrogen-infused foam, like Skechers, and we were like, somebody finally realized this is a great foam to use for a midsole.
Yeah, I think they were one of the first people to like jump back, first brands to jump onto that super critical train. And that was almost 3.5 years ago to the day of this review that shoe came out.
But the crazy thing is, and why we're bringing that up is, when this one came out, I really liked it. It was lightweight, the cushioning felt good. It was kind of like 3 years ago was before we had this like revolution of, you know, fatter cushion, softer shoes. So this one was kind of like lightweight, springy, nice, kind of reminded me of the early Nike React.
Exactly, and this came in at the same time as the first Hyperion Elite for Brooks, which worst shoe ever created probably.
Anyway, Robbe, we should probably get into this, right?
Yeah, so that was the shoe, this is now. So let's see what's changed and what's different about it. Do you want to start with the upper?
Yeah, it's a pretty basic upper. It's a mesh upper. Does what it's supposed to do. It has a thin tongue, has a gusset, padding around the collar.
Pretty simple, it's pretty simple.
There's nothing exciting about it.
It's not bad. I feel like it gets a little that crinkly feeling, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't have that nice feel to the hand, but it works.
I gotta talk about this because Brooks said that the upper on this new version is more breathable, and it's not. It's just like objectively not more breathable. This has actual holes in the upper, so it's not more breathable. I do think it's a better fit than the first version.
Yes,
I think the gusseted tongue helps for sure.
Yeah.
Lockdown I thought was pretty good through the midfoot. No issues with that. I did feel like this ran a little long, which was also an issue I had with the first one. Did you feel that at all?
There is a little bit of extra room. I wouldn't necessarily, like, it wasn't a call out for me as much. Brooks does a great job with their uppers usually, and the fit of the stuff. They're very consistent. It's a lack of experimentation to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I don't think, again, it's not bad per se, it's just like, it's just there. Anyways, so I felt like it does the job it needs to do, which is a good lockdown, just a little bit long maybe in the toe box. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the midsole, which is kind of the bread and butter of this shoe. It's the DNA Flash, the super critical nitrogen infused midsole. Interestingly enough, I think it's actually a lower stack than the first version.
What'd you measure it at?
I measured it and it was around like maybe 25 or 26.
And this did feel flat to me.
So I was talking about the old one.
Oh, wow.
That this was measured at like a lot higher than I'm pretty sure than it is. And then this one is actually 22 millimeters in the heel.
So you feel like we lost 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters?
Yeah, so it's definitely, it is a bit of a lower stack. I mean, these are two different sizes, so. Yeah, so 22 in the heel, 14 in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop. So when we're talking about a simple running shoe, this falls into that kind of bucket.
And this is where we kind of get into some trouble. As I was running in this one, Robbe, it felt really flat under my foot. It's light, so it feels good on your foot that you're not carrying a lot of shoe. So I like that like minimal feel to it. So if you like a shoe that has minimal feel and just enough foam underneath to protect your foot against the ground, this shoe does that. I just felt it felt slappy, and I have to compare it to shoes like the Kimbara.
On one hand, I actually, I really love this shoe, and I feel like it's pretty much the same thing. You want to see it evolve, but in a way that's what the Hyperion Max is. So I feel like it kind of has, it's just a different shoe.
Even in this shoe though, I felt like there was more, like when I tried back on the old version, I felt like I could feel like a different shape as the midsole moved around, whereas this one just feels like a slab of foam.
I feel that.
This would be something to go up against the Kimbara for that person that wants that shoe that's a more minimal feeling shoe, doesn't maybe love some of the cushioning we're getting from these Max Cush shoes.
Yeah, I will say, I actually enjoyed this shoe a lot. I felt like I had some really good runs in it, just felt like simple running shoe.
Quick turnover.
Yeah, quick turnover, fun to run in. I did like the addition of more rubber on the outsole here. It was really grippy and nice. Really generous layer here. You're going to get a lot of miles out of this for sure.
Yeah, between the supercritical foam and that, and the fact that it's not going to get, it's not like you have a squishy shoe that's going to compact.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a shoe that can last a while.
Yeah, so I actually like this shoe, and I kind of changed my opinion on it. I think in the first thoughts I was like, why is exact same thing? Why is this here?
I have to say, Robbie, your preference is for something a little firmer. I think you're a little lighter on your feet than I am. You're gonna like something that maybe doesn't have as much cushioning as I would want, and often you like a shoe that's a little more firm than I would pick. So I can see you liking this shoe.
Same thing with our written review, which you can find in the description. I think the reviewers were basically split the same way we were. There, two of us kind of liked the firmer feeling, and two of us didn't like it. In fact, our one reviewer, who's a senior in high school, who is very light on the feet, he didn't like it at all, which is interesting because he likes shoes like the Tempo Athletic, like Fly Light, like some of the real.
What was his
stuff.
reasoning for not liking it?
He did the same thing you said. He thought it felt just like it just felt dead. Like,
there's no character for me.
It just like hit. There wasn't much bounce or what you're expecting from it. Just kind of slappy and whatnot, but I don't know. It's $150, by the way, so that's actually the same price as the version before that.
I would think if you want to see this really done well with a supercritical foam, you go to the New Balance Rebel.
Yeah, so I think people will might want to compare the two.
More stack, more supercritical foam, lots of rubber. These are two that I would compare to each other. Between these two, let's do a quick between two shoes, Robbie.
All right, I think I'm going Rebel V. I'd go Rebel V2.
Yeah,
preferably.
I would go with the Rebel as well.
I feel like if this was $120, I'd be a lot more
enthusiastic
to be like, yeah, go for the shoe for sure. I don't know if you did like the original Hyperion Tempo. I think you're gonna equally like this shoe.
See, I did like it originally, but things have changed.
If you still like that kind of shoe as your daily trainer or lightweight tempo shoe, but I feel like you're getting shoes now like you're talking about the Hoka Cielo, which is a racing flat. But it's
Street Fly, Takumi Sen,
but the Tempo Athletic,
Cyclone
2, which those have legitimate P-backs in them, and they're the same price, or like $10 more. So I don't know.
What color are you gonna give this shoe?
I think I'm gonna. Part of me actually wants to give it a green, but I think I'm gonna give it a yellow.
And I would probably give it a red. So we're gonna give this guy an orange.
Okay.
I mentioned you've got the Kinvara. If you want a daily trainer that's light and simple, that's around $120.
Like the Skechers Ride even is more of a. It's more a higher stack and everything.
Yeah, it has a lot more
it's the same weight.
Take a look around.
Yeah.
We're giving it a general score of orange.
If you want something a little more peppy, a little more underfoot, do the Hyperion Max. We love that shoe. So I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. It's a simple shoe. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm trying to find something else to say about it. It's just a simple shoe, but it's $150. So
that's it. And like always, we'd love you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, sign up for our weekly email where Robbie is dropping heat in the editorial comments every week and post everything that we do that week. So YouTube videos, website reviews, interviews, podcast updates, all come in one email. We'll put the link down in the description below. So check it out. Robbie, anything else you want to tell the people?
Nope, that's everything.
All right.
Enjoy. Max Headroom.
Yeah. Oh, I like
Remember Max Headroom?
Yeah.
I knew you would know.
Yeah. Coca-Cola. Anyway.
Why was that cool, by the way?
Oh, because nobody had 3D generated graphics back then. So it was like, whoa, the future is here. It's a dude with plastic hair.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, and his background would be like, and
yeah.
yeah.